Imagine having a family member you love die. While you're mourning, you find a mysterious letter which completely changes everything you ever knew about them. That's what happened to these people as we go through 3 mysterious letters left by people who died. This first letter was left by a young lady named Taylor Smith who tragically died of complications relating to pneumonia. Her parents were completely crushed when their daughter passed, as any loving parents would be. After a few months of pulling themselves together, they finally entered Taylor's room to find a hidden letter Taylor had written, which was addressed to herself in the year 2023, when she would be a full-grown adult. The letter is heartbreaking, so if you have any tissues, get them now. The letter reads, "Dear Taylor, how's life? Life in the past is pretty simple right now. 10 years in the past. I know I'm late for you, but when I'm writing this, it's early, so congratulations on graduating high school. If you didn't, then go back and keep trying. Get that degree. Are you in college? If not, I do understand. We have pretty good reasoning for why not. After all, don't forget it is Allana's 11th birthday. She's 11 already. In my time, she just turned 1. There's more to the letter than that, and if you want to know exactly what's on there, you could just pause the video and read the rest of the letter on the screen. This is so heartbreaking to read because she didn't get to fulfill all her goals in life. I hope her family are doing well and making her proud." This man named Tony, who was married to his wife for 50 years, discovered a letter she had been hiding from him for over 40 years. This letter was from an old ex-girlfriend of his, stating that they both had a child together, and the child was begging to know who the real father was. Tony then spent a few years looking for his long-lost son, and they finally found each other after over 40 years.
When Trapani's wife had been alive, though, the couple had tried and tried for the one thing that was missing from their partnership, a baby. But no matter how much they both wanted it, it never happened, as Trapani's wife wasn't able to conceive. And as a result, their marriage remained childless. After the death of his spouse, however, Trapani's life would take an unexpected turn. And that came after he found a letter at the back of a drawer while clearing out his late wife's filing cabinet. In fact, it was so well hidden that Trapani had missed it the first time he'd sorted through the cabinet's contents. The letter's postmark was dated to March 1959, and it was addressed to Trapani. Curious, not least because he'd never seen it before, the widower duly opened the envelope and read the letter inside. And what it contained was a life-altering secret that his wife had kept hidden for over 50 years. The letter read, "Dear Tony, I bet you're surprised to hear from me after so many years. I was just thinking about you tonight like so many other nights, but I thought I'd write you and find out how you are." The message then was from a woman that Trapani had dated before he married. And the next paragraph was a bombshell. Trapani's ex-girlfriend wrote, "Tony, please don't be angry or surprised to hear this. I have a little boy. He's 5 years old now. Gray eyes and beautiful black hair. What I'm trying to say, Tony, is he's your son." The letter concluded, "Please, Tony, if you can find it in your heart to forgive me, please come and see him. Every day he asks me where is his daddy, and believe me, Tony, I can't even answer him anymore. I would be forever grateful to you if you would just see him. I'll close now, hoping and praying you'll answer." Trapani's family believes that his wife had come across the letter first and read it. Not wanting her husband to know about it, she'd subsequently hidden it behind the drawer. But now the truth was out, and Trapani started looking for the son he never knew he had. Little did he know, though, that his quest would lead to yet another stunning revelation. To begin with, however, Trapani and his family started their search with a name he'd been given in the letter. The message was from his former girlfriend, Shirley Childress, and in closing, she had written that her son's name was Samuel Duane. So Trapani's sister, Arlene Schulte, began searching for possible relatives or connections to Samuel on Facebook. Samuel Duane Childress, meanwhile, had grown up in Pennsylvania and had always spoken to his mom about his absent father. As he told Fox 17 in January 2015, "I always ask my mom, well, what does he look like?" She said, "Well, go look in a mirror." And Childress knew that his mom had written to Trapani, telling him that he was the father of the then 5-year-old boy. However, she didn't receive a reply to her plea to meet with him. She therefore assumed, although the letter had been delivered to its intended recipient, Trapani had rejected his son. Indeed, the idea of ever meeting his father remained a distant hope throughout Childress's youth. But that all changed when Trapani's sister connected with her nephew's wife on Facebook. Soon, the long-lost father and son would meet for the very first time. And after all those years having a father-shaped void in his life, the 63-year-old was understandably devastated at the revelation. "It's kinda shocked me a little bit," Childress told Fox 17 at the time. "Instead of being 99%, it was 0, and it kinda set me back. I mean, it's just like a shock to me." Despite that blow, however, both men have vowed to remain in their newfound bond. In fact, Childress has even stated that he has no interest in continuing to search for his biological dad. Instead, he had been looking to Trapani to be the new father figure in his life. Indeed, as Childress would tell Fox 17, "I call Trapani every day, and talking to him, he says the same thing about the result. He said, 'It doesn't matter what it says. I know you're my son.'"
Sandra Chesterman was the mourning mother of a daughter who tragically died by the hands of a drunk driver who is now serving a sentence of over 20 years. Her parents were obviously overwhelmed by this news. As they sorted through her things, they found a secret letter left in her makeup bag. The contents of the letter made her death 10 times harder for the parents to handle.
When she died, Christina Chesterman was taken from her family far too young. But in an incredible twist of fate, she was able to leave behind a legacy that touched hearts around the world. On September 22nd, 2013, Christina was riding her bicycle in Chico, California, when she was struck and killed by a drunk driver. Her mother, Sandra, father, David, sister, Emily, and brothers Aaron, Dustin, and Daniel were devastated. But when Sandra was cleaning out Christina's old apartment 3 weeks later, she made an important discovery. Tucked inside a makeup bag was a piece of paper that would change the family's lives forever. On the piece of paper, Christina had written a bucket list. It contained an extensive array of all the things that the young woman had hoped to achieve before she died. Written some years previously, perhaps when she was still in high school, Christina's list gave her parents a unique insight into the sort of life their daughter had and wanted to lead. Some of the items on the list reflected Christina's desire to travel the world, as well as wanting to visit all 50 states. She had also hoped to see Venice, Italy, travel to all the continents, and fly first class on an airplane. Her adventurous spirit shone through too, with wishes to take part in activities such as parachuting, skydiving, and hot air ballooning. Christina, who had been training to be a nurse at the time of her death, had a caring nature that her friends and family recall fondly. This can be seen clearly in the list of goals she set for her future. As well as her wanting her own family, Christina wrote of her ambition to save a person's life and to be remembered by others as the smiley girl. Other wishes were more down to earth, such as her desire to learn how to play the game of chess and go running in a poppy field. Tragically, Christina had only gotten around to taking one item off of her list before she died: to be a part of the homecoming court, so her bereaved family decided to take matters into their own hands. Immediately after her death, Christina had already achieved 2 more of her life goals. Because she was on the organ donor registry, her heart and other organs had helped to save lives. "I can't explain how I felt when I found the list," Sandra said in an interview with NBC's Today. "And one of the things on the bucket list was save a life, and that struck us because she ended up saving 5. She also said she wanted to be remembered as the smiley girl, and she was. She was always smiling." Inspired by the list, the Chesterman family decided that they wanted to experience everything that Christina had never had a chance to. One by one, they hoped to fulfill her hopes and dreams for the life she would never lead. They decided to try to complete their daughter's bucket list. "Some of the things we couldn't do, like fall in love," Sandra explained, "but run through a poppy field? We figured we would do what we could." The family visited Niagara Falls, one of the destinations that had been on Christina's wish list. They even took lessons to experience her dream of flying a plane. Christina's dad, David, who had planned to join his daughter in conquering America's Route 66, completed the journey accompanied by her ashes. But Christina's hopes for the future were far-fetching. The list was long and the family could only hope to make a dent in it. That's when something truly amazing started to happen. Moved by Chesterman's story, strangers from all around the world began to tackle the items left on Christina's list. One by one, the list was checked off, as well-wishers enjoyed all sorts of experiences in her honor and posted photographs online. One woman completed a parachute jump while carrying a picture of Christina, while another visited all 50 states. Other people posted pictures of themselves visiting Venice and riding camels in Egypt. One little girl even shared a picture of herself flying first class. Christina's family were overwhelmed by the love and support shown by kind strangers wanting to help the young woman's spirit live on. But there was one surprise still left in store. The media coverage of Christina's story brought it to the attention of Susan Vieira, a former nurse who had received a heart transplant.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry if this list made you sad, but if you did enjoy it, subscribe and turn on the notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.